What is up, guys? This is Mr. Bazy bringing you a Halo commentary today. Actually, not a live com. It's actually a commentary. But today we're going to be talking about some things regarding Halo 5 and the new Ghost, whatever it's called, or the new Call of Duty that's coming out pretty soon, actually. So first off, let me get to a point really quick. This next week and a half, I won't be posting as much content, probably about a video, if that, a day. Because I have a lot of school stuff coming out, a lot of finals and papers. So just bear with me with that. But moving on to the more important subjects here, I'm going to start off first with Halo. Halo, in terms of what makes the games better and what makes Halo would make the series better, I guess, would be first balance. Balance is really important both in terms of maps and guns. In terms of guns, I think after post-patch in Halo 4, I think that they did a pretty good job at balancing it. I think there are a few things that could have been tweaked. For those of you that play the game, the bolt shot is still a little bit ridiculous, but they did do a better job of it. I'm not gonna give them a shortcoming in terms of what they actually did fix about it, but it still is pretty bad. But in terms of making the BR4 shot and messing around with the speeds and stuff like that, and fixing doing stuff with the light rifle, I think that they did a pretty good job. So post patch Halo 4, thumbs up. But in terms of before the patch came out, it was really rough. The DMR was really dominant. And regardless, people would still use the other guns, of course, because for nostalgic purposes or whether they liked it or whatever. But it shouldn't have been like that. It should have been fairly balanced, and they should have each had their weaknesses and stuff like they do now. So a secondary to that would be the map balance. Map balance is, I think, extremely crucial both in Halo and Call of Duty. But in terms of Halo, they did a pretty good job here with this. I mean, Forge really saved their butt this time around because, it's a good thing that Halo's got Forge because there weren't a lot of good competitive maps this time around. I mean, in terms of social maps, I think there were better ones. I think, in terms of social stuff, it was decent. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't the worst of the Halo games that had those maps. But in terms of competitive stuff, it left a lot to be desired in terms of, the default maps, the ones that were generated by their engine. But on top of that, or actually to shift to a different topic here, is custom game options. Custom game options, I've said for a long time that there should be an on-off switch for certain things. There should be an on-off switch for sprinting. There should be an on-off switch for melee. There should be an on-off switch for pretty much anything, like shooting even. And this is, you might say, oh, shooting, that sounds pretty stupid. But the point is you should be able to do it regardless. If you want to make a game mode where you're not allowed to shoot off the beginning of the game, you can't punch. For example, this would work really well with team snipers. No melee team snipers would work really well, I think. A lot of people would probably approve of that. But yeah, if you want to make a game mode, even no matter how stupid it is, you should be able to do it. I mean, you shouldn't be limited by the developer's idea of what would make a good game. The whole point of custom games is so you can customize things. I mean, that's kind of the premise of it. But, what are you going to do? I think that would definitely make the game better, though. And then moving on from this, I think Forge needs a total overhaul. I know a lot of people were not happy with Forge. Now, I've never really been a big Forger, but, I'm taking this from other people's testimonials and my friends, what they were disappointed with. And I'll tell you right now that Halo 4 Forge was probably the most lacking, other than Halo 3, because Halo 3, of course, you didn't have all these options like phasing and stuff like that. But they were even able to make it work in that. Now, with in terms of what Reach had, I think Reach had great Forge. I mean, the style of it was lacking. It left something to be desired there. But the way that it was kind of constructed was great. I mean, you had fine tuning and everything. My advice to 343 and my advice to make the game better would be bring all that stuff back. Bring back what makes the game so great, or what makes Forge so great. Bring back that old style, even though it was gray, even though it was bland. I mean, it worked really well. But then again, bring back the UNSC style that you have in this game, because I'm sure a lot of people like that. The way that the objects are colored is a lot more vibrant, and I think could be beneficial in certain situations. But at the same time, and this is this is just my opinion here, is maybe input a Forge environment that includes the Covenant style of objects. That way you can remake some of the older maps, maybe not perfectly, but you could definitely do a pretty decent job of remaking some other maps like Midship, for those of you that have played the older Halos. Yeah, so you could remake stuff like that. And it would also add some more variation to the competitive game modes that you would have. But, hopefully Forge doesn't have to be used that much with competitive. I know, everyone likes to have some Forge maps in there. But, it's always nice to have some really good competitive developer maps there as well. So I think that's going to wrap it up for kind of what Halo. And this is just a brief overview. If you want me to, I'll go over some more, in-depth things that I can think make the game better. But as for now, we're going to move on to COD. Now, Call of Duty, it's, of course, being made by another developer here. They've been in the scene, okay, in the past, so they're not new to what Call of Duty is about, but they have never actually made a Call of Duty game. So things that I think they should have right off the start, just like Halo, balance. Both maps and weapons. I think the map design, they could take a tip from Treyarch. Treyarch's got really good map design. It's really vibrant. It's really colorful. It's fun to play on. But at the same time, it can be really competitive and really good. So, but definitely weapon balance. This is really important for Call of Duty games. I mean, when in a game where it takes so little bullets to kill people, you really can't, take anything away from the weapon balance. I mean, weapons need to have counters to each other. The weapons need to be balanced based on their accuracy and their power. There should be pretty much like 2 or 3 powerhouse guns that aren't super overpowered. They have their counters in assault rifle, SMG, and maybe 2 in LMG and 2 in sniper. Because I think that you really want to have those powerhouse guns, but they do have to be situational. I think they can't just be used, all around. And I think when you're talking about a gun being used across every situation, you're kind of going back to Black Ops 1, which everybody eventually just used the FAMAS, and every once in a while you'd see the AK-74U, but you saw a lot less when after the update happened. So weapon balancing is absolutely crucial. And, both Halo and Call of Duty, they need to really worry about the structure, the foundations of the game. They need to make the game good competitively first, because if you have a good competitive game, then you have good social playlists and game modes. If the game just works, if everything's balanced, everything's good, then you can start worrying about what's fun, what playlists are fun, and all that. That would definitely really help the series. I think it would kind of bring it back to its roots, where everyone really liked it. COD 4. I think everyone really had a good experience with COD 4. I've never really heard anyone say COD 4 was bad. And COD 4, for the most part, for those of the people that are, for those people that have been competing long enough, they would probably say that's one of the pinnacles of competition and competing. And COD 4 was just pretty good, hands down. But like I was saying, good map design, I covered that already. And then good weapon customization. Now this, I think, is great because, and this idea I've just had for a long time, and the only game that I have seen it be used is the Rainbow Six Vegas series. And some of you might already know what I'm talking about. It's color wheels. Now, color wheels are awesome because you don't have to select from an array of colors, and I think that both Halo and Call of Duty should do this. Halo more so for your body customization than anything, because if you guys have played Halo, you know that you have to select from a specified and set group of colors. With a color wheel, you can select to the very shade that you want. No matter what small increment you want to make. Exactly what you want your color to be, and this opens a massive array of customization. Now, let me. In addition to this, I think that there should be templates rather than actual camos. So, for example, in COD Ghost, you have the Ducky camo. Rather than just having the Ducky camo, you have the Ducky template. And let's just assume that there's 3 layers to this template. There's the Duckies themselves, the Ducky outlines, and the background color. All of it black and white. And if you want to leave it black and white, great. You want to be classic, do that. But what you could do is select the template, the Ducky template, and then use the color wheel to individually color to the exact shade that you want each layer individually. And then that automatically increases the individualism of that person's class. I mean, think of how often you've joined a session with a Ducky camo and seen someone else with a Ducky camo. But if you have a Ducky camo that is completely customized to the exact shade that you want it, and you like it, I mean, sure, there's probably going to be some copycats, but, I mean, it's a lot better than just saying, ducky camo. You use this or you use another camo. You know what I mean? Also, I think it would be really cool and really new, and I haven't really seen this in Call of Duty in the past, would be textures on the guns, and you could probably add those textures after you're done with the coloring. I think that would be really cool. You know, maybe have like a fuzzy texture, maybe have, you know, just little things like fur, you know, that kind of texture. You can maybe have like a cheetah skin with a fur texture, so it looks like you have a cheetah, like a cheetah pelt on your gun. But different things like that, I think that would make it really cool, really fresh, really new in terms of weapon customization. I mean, they've really done a good job with the perk system here, and that's the end of the clip as we wrap that up. But as I'm wrapping up this commentary, they've done some really good stuff with the weapon customization. In terms of, you know, the perks, the attachments, and everything else. They've done a really fantastic job, in my opinion. So, you know, I really like it. If they could implement that, I think it would just kind of, you know, tip off the iceberg with weapon customization. But with that, I'd like to leave you. I'd like to let you guys leave something in the comments. I really want to hear what you guys have to say, whether it's, you know, my idea is good, or whether or not you want to add to my idea, whether you're saying, you know, my idea is absolute trash, here's my idea, and this is why it's better. I really want to spark some conversation here because, you know, I'm really passionate about these two games. I really like them, and I want to see kind of what you guys think would change the series. But with that, this has been Basie, and your favorite Sage, of course, and I'm out.